Alright, here we go, guys. Awakened White Lily. Finally here, our latest and the last Awakened Ancient Cookie. Alright, so we got the grass element newly added to White Lily Cookie last update. Now she has received her awakened form, and I am gonna go and awaken her to 2 stars, just like I do most of the time for the reviews. Alright, will I make her higher than 2-star? Eventually, but I won't be spending much more on this. And there you guys go. That is the halo right there that you do get. But let's look at her skill now.
And before we get back into the video, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that's going to be LD Player. And just like always, you guys already know that LD Player has been the emulator of choice for me for the last 4 years of starting this YouTube channel. And actually, with the new update, they did roll through for Cookie Run Kingdom inside of LD Store. If you guys do update the game through the LD Store, this allows your Cookie Run Kingdom to actually run super smooth, which you're going to be able to see through the gameplays right now. With the setting inside of LD Player, you're also able to increase the overall frame rate to all the way up to 120 FPS, which actually makes the game a lot smoother as well. Additional to that, you have a ton of different Android games that you're able to download from the Google Play Store. So of course, it does not limit you to Cookie Run Kingdom alone, but definitely going to be the emulator of choice for me, and something that I do recommend if you guys would like to play Cookie Run Kingdom on your Windows computer as well. But once again, thank you LD Player for sponsoring, and let's get back into the video.
Alright, so Freedom's Bloom. It's going to be a 15-second cooldown still. And a level 90 right here for me. A flower bud that sprouted through adversity burst open, dealing periodic damage to nearby enemies and additional damage depending on the number of buffs White Lily Cookie has on herself. Enemies affected by the skill will become entangled in vines, unable to move or use skills for a certain time. The Bloom of Freedom deals damage to nearby enemies, increases the grass type damage they take, and applies the seeds debuff. The seeds will sprout after some time, dealing damage to nearby enemies and entangling them in vines. Seed sprouting time will decrease whenever the target receives healing. Whenever White Lily Cookie uses her skill, or when any team member gains a debuff, they will gain the Dawn Lily Restoration buff. And once Dawn Lily Restoration reaches a certain number of stacks, it will dispel all debuffs and heal the targets while granting Petals of Restoration to certain cookies from the team. At the start of the battle, certain cookies from the team will receive or will gain Petals of Restoration. White Lily Cookie cannot be silenced or shackled, and once per battle, if White Lily Cookie is defeated, she will become unable to act, but will be protected by Remembrance of Yearning for a short while. Blossoms of Adversity. Damage is going to be 4 hits over 2 seconds. Single hit damage is going to be 373.2% of attack, ignoring 40% of damage resist. Extra damage, 70% per 1 buff on self, capped at 700%, and ignores 40% of damage resist. Alright, and then grass type damage, alright, is going to be plus 8% for 15 seconds, stacks up to 3 times, and that's going to be 24% extra grass type damage if that stacks up to 3 times. Alright, vines. Enemies ensnared and unable to use skill for 3 seconds. Alright, they're not able to move too. That is crazy. Effects after vine duration is over or target is immune. Movement speed is decreased by 80% for 10 seconds. Damage received increases by 30% and stacks up to 1 time. And then damage after vine duration is over or the target is immune is 532% of attack and ignoring 40% of damage resist. Literally the 40% damage resist ignore nowadays is like standard in all these cookies, man. Alright, Freedom's Bloom. Damage is going to be 10 hits over 2.5 seconds. We have single hit damage of 61.4% of attack, plus damage equal to 27.9% of max HP cookies. Ignores 40% of damage resist again, and seeds sprouts after 10 seconds, and vines applied after sprouting. Seeds sprouting time is minus 1 second if target receives healing, and bloom damage targets with seed is going to be 685.8% of attack, ignoring 40% of damage resist, plus damage equals to 27.5% of max HP. Bloom area damage is going to be additional 652.5% of attack to cookies, and 16.6% of attack to others. And then Dawn Lily Restoration. Gain 1 stack per 5 debuffs on White Lily Cookie or allies, 7 stacks when White Lily uses her skill. At 15 stacks, dispels debuff on allies and heal them for 122.9% of attack. Very similar to what we had before, right? And then Petals of Restoration is going to be 1 stack for 2 ally cookies with the highest attack upon the start of battle and when Dawn Lily Restoration triggers. Petal of Restoration effect is when target is incapacitated, removes Petals of Restoration and dispels all possible incapacitating effects on them while granting immunity from such effects for 5 seconds. HP shield and healing target for 17.8% of their max HP. Provides protection for 1 incapacitating effect after the duration ends. Alright, and HP shield is 20% of max HP for 10 seconds. And the protection is going to be 15 seconds. And then Ancient Cookie, this is going to be the basically the last like standard buff that we get, and that is going to be passive. Debuff resist plus 30%, damage resist plus 35%, and Remembrance of Yearning is invulnerability for 2.5 seconds and cooldown minus 50% when defeated, and heals for 70% of max HP, damage dampening 25%, and grass type damage plus 25%. Alright, that is a ton of stuff. And I think her stuff basically is gonna be obviously damage resist bypass. And then we will most likely see, I want to say, raspberry and swift chocolate mix is what I would assume you would probably want to go for. Her start is pretty slow, so we might go full swift chocolate, but let's just go and look at her skill and stuff. Yeah, 44.5, it's 44.45% technically. All right, let's just see the animation though. Oh, we gotta see the rally buff too, right? Alright, let's see the rally buff of White Lily. Grass type damage plus 20% for 15 seconds when a grass type cookie uses their skill. Damage resist plus 15% and stacks up to 2 times. Alright, so that's pretty good. But there it is. So that is gonna be her stacks right over there. Okay, so once I use the skill, you do see like the stacks come up. And then you see a bunch of different hits. You have the grass type damage up. You got the seed right there as well, so that explosion right there, that is where the seed blossoms. Then you use the skill again, and then it's just dead. And then we can go into like maybe episode like 18, and then we can see more of like bunch of like enemies. Okay, so we'll just use like that. You see the entanglement right there? So those are entanglements right there when she used her skill. So if she uses it again, everybody gets entangled, shackled, and then they can't move. And then you can't use skill, and then she just does damage to you. She is a little bit slower on the casting, as in like the whole skill animation is pretty slow. Okay, now let's just go quickly into the arena. We still do have about 5 minutes until the arena does reset. Yeah, so I feel like the meta would be very diversified now after White Lily Cookie Awaken comes out. The reason why I say that is because we most likely will see like people using Shadow Milk sometimes, people using Eternal Sugars here and there, like mix and match. So right now it's looking like if I do this, then it will most likely be on HP. Definitely White Lily is gonna be the least, and then we most likely will have Doa L buff on White Lily as well, because White Lily is insane. I will go into some friendly battle, I guess. I think I could do some friendly battle with like Coconut and other friends that I have that are pretty good up there. So there you guys go. So, oh, they already have White Lily on this team. Alright, they have a scroll, so we'll just see how this one goes. Okay, so we have Silent Salt, use it, and then right after that we have White Lily. But you guys see right there, White Lily literally exploded, and then the Remembrance popped, and then allowing her to be healed, and then use the skill again as she comes back. So you guys were able to see that. We have the Disciple of Abyss still up on White Lily. But White Lily definitely is pretty darn squishy. There is that one thing. Wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened? Okay, we did win. We did win. Was kind of, close, but Dang, the damage output for their White Lily was 45 million. Mine was at 14 million. Okay, so probably a little bit of topping difference, and also they do have the scroll instead. All right, Wolftail has a standard build. So let's see how this one turns out to be. I think she will replace a cookie, but I don't think it will always be Shadow Milk, or it would like it would be other cookies too, I think. Man, she is squishy though. Like, she explodes real fast. Like, she's an automatic like death in the first like couple seconds of the arena. And she's dead again. So my White Lily exploded. Alright. Surviving. Okay. Wow, okay, that scroll and monocle making a difference, huh? Man, White Lily just does so much more damage than last time. Well, Pure Vanilla was meta last season too. Oh yeah, the damage is bypassed. Look how much damage. Look how much more damage we're doing. There we go. There we go. So much more damage coming out. 31 million. Shadow Milk 9. Oh wow. We're like neck to neck on this one. Maybe I'm a little bit better. Okay. So the devil damages is bypassed. 23 million. The scroll actually making a big difference here. You're only going to be able to get 2-second start if you use Beascuit as well. So, ooh, there you go. There's a bunny one right there. There's the Doyle one. So yeah, you can see like the Doyle's White Lily. So Shadow Milk is being replaced on some of these. There's one using Shadow Milk with White Lily. They're using Marshmallow Bunny. So I think there's going to be a lot of different builds come out just because of how versatile White Lily is. White Lily has silence immunity, shackle immunity, does an insane amount of damage. Also on top of that, she is able to entangle other cookies. So like she has so much stuff she can do that I personally think that she probably will just be used like in replacement of a Shadow Milk, in replacement of an Eternal Sugar. I think it will of course depend on what you have, like your team and your account, but it's looking like we're gonna have some big changes. Like we'll see like probably Pure Vanilla used somewhere here, Marshmallow Bunny, you know, used here and there. Doyle most likely will still be very standard, but I am excited to see what kind of stuff people are gonna come out with. But as of right now, there are people using, like Coconut is using a mixture build of peanut and swift chocolate and having a 3-second start with damage resist bypass. I used, when I was versing Coconut, I used a raspberry and swift chocolate mix with damage resist bypass. I'm not sure what others are using right now, but like this one right here, I was using this, a 3 raspberry, 3 swift chocolate. There's so many different builds that people are like using. Like slight changes make a big like difference, whether even though you use the same build, like you might, or same team, you might lose. Let's try it with Shadow Milk too. Of course this is not like the full-on build, but see how it goes against certain teams here. I feel like Eternal Sugar is really good too, yeah, in my opinion, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, White Lily was able to pop skill right before she went into her remembrance. And then we only had technically Shadow Milk die and to come back as the puppet. And then it's a very clean victory right there against the older standard comp. So our White Lily doing ton of damage. So there's that. But keep in mind, Wolftail is not a very, like, you know, big spender on this game at all. Yeah, one downside is she is definitely squishier because of the HP. We'll see how this one goes. I think we'll still have like a lot of different builds come out, so we'll have to wait a little bit on that, but for sure, I mean 100% going to be meta, right? So just look out for more specific videos of like exact builds. The Beascuit most likely is gonna still stick with full damage resist bypass, right? And then we will most likely have maybe like a mixture of like cooldown and other different like builds as well. But as of right now, you know, obviously we were able to see her perform, doing a good amount of damage and all that good stuff. So yeah, let's wait a little bit. I will be doing more testing as well, and then let you guys know on the exact builds on certain teams that come up with White Lily Awaken. All right.